using the breath to get focused before he throws.
It's a steal of one. Last rock from Zacko, and again the struggles continue. Another steal for Canada.
Very precise hit here.
And getting the double! Getting the double!
Wow! What a fantastic shot.
Massive shot from Thurston.
How about 10?
Here it is. Last stone, 8th end. Canada with the bronze in sight, just past the guard.
Pretty happy about
He's got it.
Woo!
Bronze in Beijing. Canada defends.
Curling now enters the Sports Weekend spotlight.
Bronze in Beijing, Call. What a beautiful scene it was. Good morning from Beijing to you. Hello, curling fans. The Canadian curlers bringing home a medal to Canada.
I know. I did a whiteboard. I mean, it's so awesome. Bronze medal after a hard semifinal loss. And that was no easy. I know the score was 8-3, but it was not, it was a battle the whole way, wasn't it? Like, talk about nail biting.
Well, you saw that shot. The shot before the winning shot was, in my opinion, the winning shot, because the Canadians were on the ropes in that 8th end, leading 4-3 over Slovakia. And Thurston he had to play the perfect weight and the perfect line. He got it by the guard. He made that double, or else it was trouble. Big time trouble for Canada. Just clutch shots from what we call a big shot John. And yeah, it was just a really beautiful scene to see the emotional outpour after the win. There's Ina and Dennis.
So nice.
Haven't they done so well for Canada at the Paralympics?
And no, you know, it's so hard after a very hard loss against China to rebuild. We saw Gushu do it at the Olympics. It is not an easy job to pick yourself up off the mat. You'll remember Brad talking about the fact that they didn't get a lot of sleep the night before when they went out to play that bronze medal game. I mean, it's a real quick turnaround you've got to do to get your emotions in check after a loss and say, we want this medal. And then they play so well. How were they after?
Well, it was only a couple of hours after that semifinal loss. And like you said, I just think it's remarkable the way they were able to check that call. They so badly wanted to play for gold, but then they pivoted, right? Like they have so many times, and they were able to refocus, win the bronze medal. It meant so much to them. You've got the fire going, fireside chat.
Toasty warm. It's still cold here. I know you've been sometimes in Beijing basking in like 16-degree temperatures. All right.
20 degrees, 20 degrees.
The winter games. Yeah, we're waiting on a storm here. But anyhow, here's your conversation after with the bronze medal winners.
We're in progress here as Mark Idison once again shows us the lucky loonie that pays off. And are you finally going to tell us, Mark, where it was?
No. Here's the lucky loonie. Everybody touched it before we hit it, and it was somewhere around sheet B, ironically. So brought us some luck today.
It's almost like you knew, Mark.
Well, we kind of had scoped it out before the tournament, you know, where the championship games were going to be, and we knew we wanted to get it close to there. So Mick and I found a quiet moment to hide it in the pregame. So
you did really well.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Kalinda, you got to be a part of this journey. You have a bronze medal at the Paralympics. What is this moment like?
Oh, it's it's unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's really unbelievable. This team is incredible. The staff is unbelievable. Mick is a brainiac when it comes to curling, and he's been a really amazing guiding light for us this whole week and in the last year preparing for this. But to actually say that I'm a bronze medalist at the Paralympics is quite amazing, and it's a dream of a lifetime, honestly.
Now, Dennis, I know you like to shy away from the spotlight and the camera, but there are moments of great emotional outbursts for you, and we saw it again here. This must mean so much to you.
Yeah. Oh, gee. Yeah, it is amazing. It's just amazing. Like Ina said before, it doesn't get old, and we're number 3. We're number 3, and that's great. It's everybody's been teasing me about being the old bugger on at the Paralympics, and to go home with a medal. Hey, that's a bonus.
Ina, we were talking just a second ago, but how were you able to turn it around? And what was said in between those couple of hours that you waited between the semifinal and the bronze medal? Because you guys looked so focused when you came back out on the ice for this bronze medal game.
Everybody did what they needed to do. Some people had some rest time. John and I wanted to test rocks. We went out and got comfortable with what we were going to throw, and then just back into the room and talk about the team, what we want to do, and come back out and be ready to play.
And another medal. John, it's your first medal, and you made some clutch shots down the stretch. You lived up to the nickname Big Shot John, didn't you, when the team needed it? Maybe we just coined you Big Shot John.
There you go. I'll be glad to earn that nickname, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah, what's coming up for you? Because this is just a really remarkable moment for you and this team.
Yeah, well, I think it's celebrating with the team. Like there's been a lot of work put into getting here, and a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time in the preparation to this. So I think enjoying this moment and spending some time with the team. So we'll do that, and then watch the gold medal game tomorrow, and hopefully some sledge gold medal game on the next day, and enjoy the rest of our experience here.
And soak this up, no doubt. Let's go to Mick. Mick, this has been an emotional journey for this team, and you've spent a lot of time together to cap it off with a medal, to bring home a medal for Canada. What an accomplishment.
Yeah, pretty special. I mean, the team worked so hard to get to this point, and I'm just so proud. We as a staff are so proud of the team. So just amazing.
Let's quickly go around and family watching back home, and it would have just been so wonderful, I know, for all of them to be here. But let's celebrate this really important moment by giving a shout out to family members and friends and fans and people who have helped you get to this moment.
Yeah, we really missed having everyone here this year cheering us on in the crowd, and when you look up there and everyone's yelling, it kind of grounds you and helps you get through the week. So to have them not there was, challenging, but they were here in spirit, and just my wife and kids, thank you for putting up with all my time away from home, and my parents and my family for supporting me, and the folks at the Ilderton Curling Club and the Highland Curling Club, and all my friends and family back in Parry Sound. Share this with them, and I mean, and my family here. This is my second family, and the 4 other members of our team that aren't in this picture right now. So special. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Nicole, who gave us the Lucky Looney. She's a good friend of ours, so she's going to have to get another one for 2026.
You heard it here first. Kalinda.
Well, clearly my family, my daughters Sarah and Hannah, and my husband Ewan, and my parents, and my whole family, my colleagues at work who let me get away so that I could come and experience this at Accessibility Standards Canada. And I think, again, the City of Ottawa and the folks at the RA and the City View Curling Club and all of their support, and numerous friends and other family members. Yeah.
Awesome. Dennis?
To my family at home in Helene for switching to be at Beijing time and watching every single game, and my kids as well. They were up watching every game. So thanks to everybody back in Winnipeg and Stamford and Crystal City for watching. It's just awesome.
And those grandkids.
And
no
the grandkids,
doubt.
Julie and Livy. Love you.
Oh, beautiful. Ina.
Well, to my family mainly. Lots of people have supported you, but it's been wonderful having their support over these last 5 weeks. And they're tough, brave people and made it so I could come and do this. So thank you so much, guys. I needed that.
Beautiful, Ina. Thank you for that. John?
Yeah, my whole family, my mom, my dad, my 2 sisters, brother. Yeah, they've been cheering hard back home, and it's been great to have the support, and all the rest of my family and friends cheering along. Everybody at the Peterborough Curling Club, they've been cheering me hard and supporting me from afar, and the Bob Cajun Curling Club. And just everybody that supported me along the way. My home coach, Carl Rennick. Yeah, I don't know. So many people to name, but family, friends, and everybody that supported me, it's been amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And Mick?
Yeah, I'd like to just shout out to my wife, Sarah, my parents back home, my sister and her family as well, and I think I also would like to just shout out to the additional group or team around this team. So, you know, the nutritionists and the strength and conditioning coaches and the additional individuals who work closely with our team back home. Just a huge thank you to all of them.
You've poured your hearts into this. John Thurston, Ina Forrest, Dennis Thiessen, Kalinda Joseph, Mark Idison, and Mick Lismore, keeping the streak alive for Canada at the Paralympics. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Devin.
Thank you.
Very nice. And I like it. He seems surprised by the nickname you gave him, Big Chuck, but I think it works. Doesn't it just describe, though, the journey for them, that it takes a village? You know, it just takes so much work and so many other people to support you on the journey to get to this, to get back on the podium. So that was beautiful.
Yeah. And you know, Cole, it's so nice to be able to actually watch that, because you'll know as a broadcaster, and you had a wonderful moment with Team Gushu, sort of like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they had won the bronze, and you went around and you were talking to all of them. These games in this time in a pandemic, away from the family, has been an extraordinary task as a journalist, because you're struck by the moment that you are literally one of very few Canadians here who are experiencing these moments of triumph with our Canadian athletes. And I know we preach objectivity all the time, but it's so much more in that moment. And it was so emotional after that to be able to share those moments. I will never forget this for the rest of my life, because it was special.
And also the isolation because of COVID and being in China, it was strange for both Jennifer Jones, John Morris, Rachel Holman, and Brad's team, and now this team, to be here without the support on the ground from their families and loved ones who would normally be, and the quietness in the arena. That was a whole other different, you know, ball of wax for all of the teams. And everybody, we always talk about the sacrifice of all the para-athletes and athletes. And but in this case, it was, you know, the fact that you had to isolate before the Olympics and get here is an indication of just another drain on the tank that you had to go through.
No kidding. And, you know, we're going to pivot here, because we've said throughout the Paralympics on that curling show, we want to get into some of the tougher conversations around the Paralympic movement. And listen, Cole, yesterday I wrote this story about the fact that if these people were Olympians, they would all be receiving $10,000 for their bronze medals here at the Paralympics. But Canadian Olympians win money for medals. Canadian Paralympians do not get a single penny.
And it's different in other countries too, where the Paralympians do get money for the medals. So it's definitely an inequity. We hope we can continue to have the conversation on and spark change or discussion, because they put as much work for not the same amount of sponsorship and everything else that some of the Canadian athletes get in all of the different sports. This is not specific to curling, So if we really want equality and accessibility, and for Paralympians to continue the journey to compete, there should be a reward with the medals as well, no different than the Olympians.
This is a conversation that's heating up. Maybe in a way we've never had this conversation. And you know, of course, leading the charge on this, 21-time Paralympic medalist, one of the greatest athletes ever from this country, Chantal Petitclerc. We've got a highlight reel. We could spend
Let's say
hours.
It could be hours. I hope we've cut it down to maybe a manageable 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's watch Chantal, and then we're going to talk with her.
Beautiful. You're the GOAT, or you were until the other day, right?
I think we're going to work on getting Chantal's microphone unmuted.
Let's see. It's always tricky.
It's always tricky, but we will get that. We will get that working. And we will bring
looking at that
back.
highlight reel. You know, it's funny how every time you go through one Olympics or Paralympics, you kind of forget about the last Olympics and when that all just came flooding back. I mean, she didn't just win those 21 medals, 14 golds, Lou Marsh Trophy as the top athlete in Canada as well. Like the accolades for her. And now she's a member of the Senate.
Absolutely, she is. So as we work out the audio settings, I think we have them.
Oh, heavens. We still don't have it.
We will keep trying on that. We'll get this figured out. We're doing it live call. But
while we're waiting for Chantal, can we talk a little bit about the big breaking news story at the Brier? Because Mark Nichols testing positive for COVID on Team Gushu, which is just such a shame. This team was rolling right along.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we came on the air, Team Gushu posting on Twitter that Mark Nichols has tested positive. He is out for the remainder of the Brier. And that means that Team Gushu is actually going to play with 3 players called the rest of the way.
You know what? And probably a good move. I don't even know if they have a 5th at this. I mean, we know that Mark Kennedy was the 5th going into the Olympics, but he was with Brad Jacobs. Jacobs is a surprise. While we're waiting for Chantal, can I grab my whiteboard for this?
Absolutely.
All right. So, I mean, Gushu was perfect at 8-0. I feel like I got to bring you up to speed, but you already know this.
You do, actually.
Botchers looked really composed and strong. I was a little worried about that team with Darren Moulding there, how that was going to affect them. But I'll tell you, they look very strong, composed, and they look awesome. So they're to play Gushu. Of course, Gushu has Hammer, and then Flash and Cooey. So Flash, of course, used to play for Cooey, and everybody's talking about this Team Saskatchewan back with a possibility of, how long has it been, Devin? How long?
Too long. Let's not talk about 1980 Rick Folk. We get
a long time.
It's been too long.
So anyhow, Flash, of course, used to play with Cooey. So everybody's talking about the Flash as a team that of players that no one else wanted. But boy, they're playing so well. 2
tiebreakers, at the Brier.
Exactly. Yeah. And so look, composed there. So now the winner of this game, the winner of these 2 games, game 1 and game 2, the winner of that I hope I've got this right, goes straight to the final. The loser goes into this game with these two losers of this game. Does that make sense? It's such a convoluted, modified page playoff.
It makes perfect sense. You're guiding us like always. We're gonna try and bring we're gonna try and bring Chantal back in. Ça va?
Oui, ça va. Is that better?
Ah, ça va très bien.
Okay,
Awesome.
so now I'm on my phone. I'm apologizing.
No,
I'm going to try and keep it stable.
This is where your long, very strong, ripped bicep arms will have no trouble keeping it stable.
We'll see. We'll see. I've retired for years now.
Oh, so you stopped all of the training for the upper body.
Well,
strength.
some days I pretend like I'm training, but it's more like I'm exercising.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're so happy to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Made the technical adjustments. We're all figuring it out, Chantal.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we're sort of hot on our agenda today. And I know Devin interviewed you for the story, and that was about when do we start seeing equal pay for equal work when it comes to Paralympians and medals?
Yes, and I've been speaking and talking about it. I've been trying to remember how long, because I did it when I was an athlete a little bit. But when you're a competing athlete, it's not your job to fight for that. But when media would ask me, I would say, of course, I don't think it's fair, and of course I would like equity, and I would like to have those performance bonuses, but I was not really fighting for it because I had something else to do, like winning those medals. And so it's been years and years, and it's interesting because I look at Team Canada and I'm so happy for them and how they're doing, and how great they've been going through that experience of making high performance happen in such tough conditions. And at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, we still haven't figured out that one. And it makes me a little bit frustrated. But at the same time, this conversation to that level, having so many stakeholders thinking, okay, we have to figure it out. Something needs to happen now. I've never been in that place, and I think this is very constructive.
And Chantal, you've been leading the way on this. You did give a rousing, passionate speech in the House. What has the reaction been? Because I know you're talking to a lot of people right now.
Yes. Well, the input and the feedbacks and the comments have been so amazing at all levels. When I did speak in the chamber, I just, to be honest, how many people listen to the Senate speeches? Maybe not that many. But I thought it has to be said, even if it's only to share with my colleagues. I need to put it there that we were welcoming our Olympians back and saying good luck to our Paralympians is when I gave that speech. And I thought I need to make it aware that there's some sort of injustice and inequity. And I thought the Senate was the right place to do it, because it is sober second thought, and we want to dig deep in those conversations. And so the reaction really was, because not everybody is in the sports system. So the first reactions was like, oh my God, I didn't even know about that. Mm-hmm. And then what can we do? How should we tackle that? And then it came from, athletes saying, thank you for doing it. Thank you for bringing it forward, and just fans and just Canadians watching those games. And you've seen it as well. We follow each other on social media, and we've been seeing many Canadians saying, okay, this is not right. They don't know the details, and they don't know, and we don't need to know everything, but I think everybody is on the same page saying this is not right, and this is not how we want to treat our athletes here in Canada.
So what happens next, do you suppose? How do you not, while this is still a kind of a hot topic, make sure that no one drops the ball on it now? What?
Yes. Well, I think that's a very, very good question. And that's going to be where I want to put my energy, is trying to connect. You know, I've been speaking with many people. I've been speaking with our amazing team at the Canadian Paralympic Committee. And what I see now is that everybody realize that we have to have that conversation. We have to come up with solutions, with options, with ideas, and we need to be making sure that we're taking actionable, you know, like we're taking steps to make it happen. So I don't have the concrete answer. I do know that, you know, I'm committing to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to make sure that this conversation happens and that our athletes get what they deserve. Because, you know, in the end, and I know some articles have quoted how much money I have missed out on that, and I didn't even realize it, which really is significant. So, you know, it really is representative that really it's not about the money, because I never really counted it, but it's about what it means. We've been talking about the Paralympians and the effort and the training and the professionalism that they put into these high performances, and the message that this is sending to them, but to everybody. And I always think about younger Canadians with a disability. What it's saying is that, yeah, sure, you have a medal, but clearly it's not worth the same thing. And I know it's more complex than that, but this is, you know, this is the message that this sends. And that's why it's so important to correct it. I think every athlete will tell you the same, that it's not, you know, getting, you know, it's not about the money as much as it is about what is fair and equality and equity.
Well, and I can tell you both, here on the ground, there's been a lot of reaction as well. Talking to the curlers and talking to the para ice hockey players, you know, they feel there's momentum on this as well. And I actually had a conversation with Marc-André Fabien, the president of the Canadian Paralympic Committee. It was an impassioned conversation, as you can imagine, if you know Marc-André. And he said, listen, he said in the hockey rink, as long as I am president, we are going to get this done before Paris. So there's this feeling. But Chantal, I thought it was poignant. You and I were having an exchange, whatever time it was for you and I, with this time change, but that Canada in a lot of ways has been a leader in the Paralympic movement. But this is such a glaring gap, and you can see that by the reaction.
Yes. And you know, I remember when I began, and it was the big era of Rick Hansen, Andre Vigier, and Canada was groundbreaking and a leader in the Paralympic movement, and we were one of the first countries to have included sports federation, you know, athletics being included with para-athletics, the carding system. I remember athletes from all across the world and in the US and everywhere saying, you know, you have carding system, you know, you have, we don't even know what that is. And my feeling is that we lost ground a little bit in that regard, and it's not too late. It's not too late. We don't want to be the last country to do that. And I think now what we can see is, you know, US is doing it. Many countries are doing it. Australia is doing it, starting with these games. And we want to be part of that progress. I think it's important. It's important for our athletes, and it's important for the place that we want to have in the Paralympic movement, I think.
What besides the rewarding for medals, what else needs, or do you see as a need that needs to happen in the Paralympic movement, so that it's not just every 4 years we're paying attention? And I know that happens at the Olympics too. There's some sports we ignore until the Olympic Games, but how does that conversation, how does change happen there?
You know, it is very difficult, and it's true. And I want to say, I don't have data, but I want to say that the Winter Paralympian maybe have it even a little less light on them between games than maybe the summer Paralympians because of the history of the Paralympic sport and wheelchair racing and wheelchair basketball. And so I think when I look back at, for example, when I was competing, of course, things are completely different. We see, we are able to see live events on the web at so many platforms. And so we can get there and see what we want to see and who we want to see, which didn't happen even 10 years ago. But sometimes I feel, is it enough? It's a very difficult one, because what do you do between games? Are we sending media coverage to World Championships or to something that is not only Commonwealth Games, Para-Pan Games, and Paralympics? And I think this is still a lot like this. I think it should change. And the reason I think it should change, of course, it's because it's the right thing to do. Those athletes trained, we want to support them, and it's the correct and right thing to do. But I think now, and that's what makes me excited, is that I think there's a demand for it. I think for the longest time it was like, oh, I am not a person with a disability, so why would I be interested in Paralympic sport? And
Right.
that way of thinking has changed so much because people were exposed, because Canadians were exposed, and they just realized that, well, sport is sport, and a wheelchair basketball game is exciting whether or not you are in a wheelchair. Same thing with so many, we were showing the curling, para curling. You don't need to be a Paralympian or a person with a disability to find it exciting. And I think in the last few years, Canadians have discovered that, and that is a big breakthrough. Of course, there's still a lot to be done, but that would be, for me, the one thing is make sure that we don't forget about those athletes between games. But that being said, I remember a time when during the Paralympics, it was almost like the media were choosing one or two para spokesperson, let's talk about this one, and this one, and that's it. And I was lucky enough because I was one of them. But the truth is, what I find really exciting now is that you, the media, cover a lot of sports, a lot of athletes, and that did not happen, even in 2008, I think, I want to say.
Yeah, it's an incredible team on the ground here, 49 Canadian athletes, and haven't they wowed throughout all of it? Yes, the 21 medals, so many other non-podium performances that are equally as incredible. We have to ask you, of course, because we were joking about the fact that that great Canadian skier, Brian McKeever, Chantal, he has 15 gold medals now. You have 14. You were saying, I guess I'm not the best anymore. Incredible. Give you a word. Because Brian is great.
Yes.
For so
well,
long.
I mean, I meant what I said. I'm a competitive, so I was always kind of although we do have to mention that we have a swimmer, Michael Edgson, who has 18 gold medals, but he was before our time. And I remember Brian competing at the same time as myself. So I wanted him to win the gold medal. I wish he didn't participate to so many games and events, but I'm just kidding. I think it's my competitive edge is like, oh no. Yeah. But at the same time, the honest answer is that, to have that level of commitment to one very, very difficult sport for 6 Paralympic Games, and to be so consistent on high performance, it requires so much work, so much dedication that I'm just in awe of what he did. Because I know what, we all have our stories, but I know that level of commitment. I've been through this, and so I'm just very proud of him and very happy for him. I read, I think I always said for myself that the measure of the success was to be able to have those high performance, very high pressure, stressful events, but find a way to have fun. And when I look at him on the screen, I see exactly that. I see someone who pushed himself to the limit of pain, but has a lot of fun. And I think that's great. I think he's amazing.
I look at him and think he should be a model. But Chantal, it's 4 more years. I think you can get ready for Paris. I think you enjoy it.
Not happening.
No, you're not that competitive anymore then.
This is so wonderful to see you, Chantal. And it really is a collective effort. I think we all play a part in moving the Paralympic movement forward. And we're going to stay on this story. So I hope we can continue the dialogue, because it's past overdue. And I think there's a feeling that this has to get done.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm committed to it. I know you are, and I know many people are. So I think the next time we talk about it, hopefully we have some sort of commitment and good news to report on.
Right on. And back pay, I say. Just kidding.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It does look like you're still in gold medal form.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Chantal. Great to see you. Bye-bye. What a champion.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's something that's so long overdue. It'll be, as she was saying, we were the leaders in everything about the Paralympic movement, and no one wants to drop the ball when it comes to equity for medals. Same.
Yeah, and to the point, if you want the details of all of this, I wrote it. It's on cbcsports.ca. So the Canadian Olympic Committee has established an athlete excellence fund called CPC and COC, totally separate organizations. The COC, through private donors, private sponsorship, has created a fund. $10,000 for bronze, $15,000 for silver, $20,000 for gold. That goes to Olympians. Now this is a conversation that's happening with the Canadian Paralympic Committee. They're appealing to sponsors, stakeholders to step up.
Hopefully the sponsors see the value in stepping up, because if the money's coming from corporate Canada or private donors, the need is equally just as great at the Paralympic level. So hopefully I'm confident once people are aware that that's the situation, because it's expensive to compete, whether you're Paralympics or the Olympics. And I would suggest that racing machine Chantal was racing in is a very expensive one. I know the wheelchair tennis ones cost a lot of money. I can't remember, one of our clubs, the Atlantic Tennis Center, just bought some. Very pricey. So all of this is expensive gear that they often need to put out, or the parents are putting out. And I think just for young kids, the 10 and 14, 15-year-old kids who are dreaming of being Paralympics, that extra carrot or knowledge that being an athlete can be a career for you as well. No different the way it is for so many Olympians.
It is about the money. It is about the money, but it isn't. At the end of the day, this is about equality. Get it done. We're going to wrap up.
We're wrapping up.
What a time it's been through the Olympics, through the Paralympics.
I feel like you've been on every time zone in the world, and you've never ever left any of the time zones. Okay. Because you're always you did a great job on the Paralympics. You did an equally great job on the Olympic Games, but
thank you, Paul.
Almost time for you to come back home. So
I can't wait to come home. I can't wait to be back in Canada. This has been an incredible journey. We mentioned Brian McKeever, the GOAT. He is in his final individual race. That's happening really soon at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can go to cbcsports.ca or GEM. Watch him. He said these are his last games. So we get another chance to watch greatness, more action, and then call, of course, the gold medal para ice hockey game, Canada versus the United States at 11 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night back home, and I'll be there tweeting and bringing all the sights and sounds.
I thought you were done. Now the curling's done. You're not done. Okay. But
No.
we're done for tonight.
We are
Cheers
done.
to you.
Remember, you can get that curling show merchandise, mugs. I left mine at home. I didn't want to break it. You might have
Well, I
noticed
broke
that.
mine, so I have to. So
Did you?
blackmapletrading.com. I'll order another one.
Well, there it is. You can order another one, and you can be just like Colleen and I. Join the party. To the fans, we're so grateful for you. Enjoy the rest of the Brier. I'm going to try and catch up. But for
and
me,
to Mark
it's been
Nichols, we hope you're doing okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, curling fans and sports fans, thank you for tuning in. It's been a blast.
Yeah. See you, Devin. Thanks, producer Soph.
Thanks, Carl.